to this matter now. Over 650 million rands worth of South African citrus en route to Europe could be destroyed once it arrives. This is because of new cold storage regulations introduced by the European Union. Now, the requirement will force Southern African countries to implement extreme cold treatment to tackle a specific kind of moth that feeds on plants. But with new regulations expected to kick in on Thursday, millions of citrus cartons already en route face possible destruction and a massive loss for the industry. For more on this, let's bring in Deon Joubert, who's the Citrus Growers Association of South Africa's Special Envoy for Market Access and EU Matters. Thank you very much for joining us this evening, Deon. I think one of the important things here to recognize is that not only are we dealing with new regulations that are coming through from the EU, but your industry has been going on for a few days now about the impact that the blackouts are having on cold storage of citrus.
Good evening. Yes, thank you for talking to us. It's true. We've had, citrus in South Africa has had a fantastic 8 years in the sense that we've grown from that 8 billion rand of foreign revenue and up to about 3 billion last year, so from 8 to 30. Secondly, we've also had a massive increase in production, and that gave us about 50 million cartons more over the last 8 years, and that gave us something like 40,000 new jobs. So it's a fantastic industry to be involved in. I think the snag at the moment is that we've had a very proud and very effective treatment of South African citrus to mitigate risk of possible diseases like any country can. But the problem is that the EU, really discriminates against South Africa now in the sense that they do, under the SPS, which is phytosanitary legislation, has introduced additional legislation which is not warranted. It's not scientifically underlaid by any facts, and it's putting massive pressure on the South African industry to comply. So it's huge cost, and some fruit won't make it to the EU. So that is what we're battling this week, and it's I think the thing you referred to, the aspect you referred to, which is the most important, is the issue that they've introduced on the 21st. They published this legislation, and they want us to comply from the 24th. In normal world trade matters, the normal implementation period is usually 6 months. Now they want it done in three days. But we are extremely happy that the Ministry of Agriculture, the Minister of Agriculture, everybody is kicked in and assisting to try and solve the issue. Hopefully we can have that done by the end of the week and avert this kind of risk.
Yeah, no, I mean, I'm just interested in that you're saying that they're doing it with some haste and not engaging equivalently with those in the industry. Did the minister engage with the EU before this final decision was made? And what do you think the minister is going to be asking for now? A complete scrap of the implementation of this, or for there to be more time for the industry to acquaint itself with the changes that it's going to need to implement?
Well, I think you touched on both. I think we would ask for both. I think the minister has effectively, and the Director General, Mr. Moketsa, has effectively assisted the industry and come to its aid. So I think they are asking their colleagues in Europe now that firstly the suspension, because it's not warranted, it's what they call not horizontal, so it's not across all boards with all food. There's definitely some elements of call it discrimination here, because food from different areas in the world go to the EU, and some of them have false codling moth. In our case, there's legislation passed on a very small number of problems that we've had, or challenges we have, and you have 15 years, and that's the case. It was 129 a year, and nothing was done to that. So there's what they would call the regulation is not horizontal, meaning it's not across the board the same for everyone. So the minister has been, and the Director General of Agriculture has definitely come to our aid, and we hope we can resolve this week. Thank you.
Yeah, and one would be interested to know why this is happening in our case, because of South Africa's risk management system, is quite rigorous in its existence. And this one differs quite significantly from the one that we have in place. So there would need to be major changes that are made to the industry at a huge cost to the industry.
Well, that's absolutely true. So what you referred to, the risk management system that we introduced 3 years ago, since false following what has become a pest in the eyes of the EU, has resulted in extremely low problems or challenges on the border. So they talk about 15 and 14 interceptions on 800,000 tons. So that's virtually 99.999% effective. So we're really doing well. And at the same time, like you said, is that some of the other countries on small tonnage of 40 or 60 or 80 tons have had 129 interceptions. So South Africa has definitely got probably the most sophisticated risk management system to mitigate the risk of any false polymer damaging or interceptant in terms of the EU production or producers. And hence our sentiment that this is absolutely not required. In fact, the legislation which has been passed is not emergency measures. So emergency measure would imply that there's a real danger. So just to have a general measure, and the conditions you refer to, the additional cold treatment, there's no science and there's no facts backing that that's required or effective. So it's really a regulatory aspect being introduced, as I said, which is highly ineffective and not backed by anything in terms of science or proven data.
Deon Uber, thank you very much for your time this evening. He's from the Citrus Growers Association of South Africa, Special Envoy for Market Access and EU Matters, talking to us about new cold storage regulations that the EU wants to put in place that risking about 654 million rand worth of citrus potentially getting destroyed when it reaches the EU shores.